Morning all. Alcohol, anxiety, and the feeling of impending doom. That's what it ended up like with me. I was quite anxious when I was a teenager, actually. Just about my height and pretty thin. You know, we're all self-conscious when we're young, aren't we? And then when I was a little bit older, I found alcohol gave me a lot of confidence. And that's how it all started, I think, from the anxiety. I don't know why I had anxiety when I was young. Maybe it's quite a common thing I didn't realise, but it hit me harder than most, I think. And I later on joined the police service, and I felt quite confident. Well, I had to be. And my life went from strength to strength, really. My confidence gathered and this sort of thing. But sometimes I would feel a bit anxious about things. And I used to have a little drink just to take the edge off things, I think. A lot of us do, in social situations, that sort of thing. But as you drink a little bit more, you start to feel anxious after you've been drinking. In the morning, when you've woken up, when you get up, when you start to get on with your day. And over the time, my anxiety seemed to get worse. Even though I was getting married when I was quite young, too young really, 23, I'd have a little drink before to get married. And it was like a traditional thing, but for me it was like, oh, I better have a drink. And then I was drinking quite heavily then, really, when I look back, even in my early 20s. Because you don't think you are when you're in the middle of all this. And then I sometimes go to work, feel anxious about things, and I didn't really link it with the alcohol. As I got a bit older, I started to feel anxious about more things, even about travelling a little bit. A bizarre one, which I had when I was in my mid-30s, was driving on a motorway. I had this panic as I wouldn't be able to get off. And I'd been on quite a few flights, and I started to feel anxious about flying. Didn't want to fly. All these things cause domestic problems, don't they? I feel a bit depressed sometimes. I just put it down to maybe being in a stressful job, or being married, or family, whatever. I didn't really link the two together, but there is a massive link between alcohol and anxiety. And as you drink more and you get more into the heavy drinking phase, then the anxiety becomes more acute. I remember going to the doctors once and saying, look, I don't feel that well, and I feel a bit anxious about this, and the other. I said, how much are you drinking? Well, obviously you never tell the doctor what you're drinking. I've no doubt that doctors will treble the amount that you say. Everyone goes and says, have 2 or 3 pints 2 or 3 times a week. But really having 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pints most days. A lot of people are anyway. Never tell the doctor what's going on. So this anxiety, as I got older and got more addicted to booze, shall we say, everything became a worry. And mother used to say, why are you worried about stuff? Why do you worry about things? My wife wasn't very supportive, unfortunately, but never mind, we're not going into that. And I said, well, I don't know why I'm worried, really. There's nothing to worry about. I was financially secure, I was all right, a good job, this sort of thing. And I would worry about something, and it would never happen, because most of the worry that you have, 95% of it never occurs anyway at the end of it, does it? It's all made up in your head. And now to get that out of the way, and I'd worry about something else. But this link between anxiety, worry, stress, is huge between alcohol and the sort of troublesome nature of your mind, really. So I heard somebody last night I was talking to mention this phrase, impending doom. And that's what it was with me. I always thought the worst of things. I've got a parking ticket, I didn't pay it on time, I thought we were going to prison. I should have known that. It was a load of nonsense. Everything small became a huge problem. And the further you get into the alcohol, the worse this gets. So you worry more about less. And as I said, as soon as you get this one problem out of the way, pay this bill, pay that bill, or whatever you've got to do, then you worry about something else after that. And it's just a vicious circle of anxiety, worry, drink, anxiety, worry, drink. Every time you drink more, it makes your anxiety more. There is a scientific link to this. It's very true, this thing of impending doom. And I think I went into a depression. I didn't really know it was a depression, but as you drink more, then your physical side of your health deteriorates. And I've recently spoken about your mental health. I didn't realise my mental health had been so battered. But it wasn't looked into enough, I don't think. I know the hospitals are so busy, the doctors are overwhelmed. It's not their fault. It's our fault for drinking too much in some ways, but when an addiction is there, it's an addiction, you can't do anything about it. people will say to you, stop drinking, cut down. It's not that easy. Oh, you've got yourself into that state, it's self-inflicted, all this, carry on. When you're in an active addiction, all that nonsense doesn't help. You need to get out of it and you want to get well again. So as the anxiety builds up, you tend to think, well, because you're going to get the medical problems over your life, you tend not to go to the doctors because you worry about this. You get a mark on your leg, you may think it's skin cancer, whatever it is. Everything's blown out of all proportion. The knock on the door, you're a bit jumpy, you're a bit anxious. All this is caused by alcohol, you know. Because you will sober, still have problems. Everyone's got problems in life. Nobody's problem free. But you can deal with them in a more rational, sober, calm manner. But you can't do that when you're anxious. Even travelling on public transport when I was in London, I was travelling from Epping up into central London most days for work. Now I was fine with crowds when I was sober. But I had a heavy night on the drink. I used to worry about crowds. I used to sweat a bit, feel a bit anxious, feel a bit nervy. Feel I was going to faint. Something started going. I wonder what happens if somebody pushes me in front of the train. I used to stand right at the back wall, even when it was really busy, even if I was going to miss the next 2 trains. So I thought, I can't be in with it right in the middle of this crowd. What happens if I get crushed and all that? And it's all anxiety, and it's all caused by alcohol. And unless you tell the doctors how much you drink and what your state of mind is, then they can't treat you. You've got to be honest and open about it. Forgetting about this impending doom, that was it. Everything's going to collapse around me. Everything's going to happen. I'm going to die. I'm going to lose my house, and lose my job, and lose my car, and lose my wife, and lose my kids, and all this carry on. And really, it's a minor problem when you look at it. When I reflect back, I think some of the worry and stress that I had was all unfounded, and it was all caused by alcohol. And this link between mental health and alcohol isn't being pursued enough. I mean, my overall mission is to save people's lives by getting them off the drink, getting them to cut down and stop. But like I say, it's not that easy. You've got to want to do it. You have an incentive to do it. But if you are starting to feel a bit anxious, a bit depressed, a bit down, then start to look at the amount you're drinking, because it does have play on your emotions. You see it when you go to the pub sometimes. You know, people walk in the pub happy as Larry at night at 7 o'clock. By midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, they're crying, they're fighting, the emotions have taken over, they go in hysteria, really, because it is a mind-altering drug. It's much more serious than we think. And it's everywhere, it's not alcohol. It's in the 24-hour garages, it's in supermarkets, it's every sporting event, every corner shop, even cafes are selling it now. I was over in France not long ago. In McDonald's, they've got a lager on tap, you know, all this sort of things. It's everywhere. It's fine if you can control it. But as the numbers of people who are addicted increase, and they are increasing, there is this thought process that younger people aren't drinking as much. Maybe they aren't, but I think that's socio-economic. I think there's still in deprived areas, young people still drink. And I think they're drinking more, to be fair. And they mix that with drugs. You've got a horrendous cocktail of drugs and alcohol. So it's something to watch out for if you're a moderate drinker, shall we say, and you're feeling a bit anxious, feeling a bit tired, feeling a bit down. A 90% chance of it being the alcohol. So look at it. And when you start to cut down a little bit, you'll feel the anxiety lift, because I would say my anxiety was on a scale of 1 to 10, it was on 12 when I was addicted to alcohol, heavily addicted. I was drinking every day. It was way above 10. Now it's probably -1, back to where it was when I was younger. Very calm, very patient, very caring sort of guy. When I was in active addiction, I didn't care about anything other than getting the cupboard full of drink. I was worried about running out. So the anxiety was covering a number of different issues. Myself, my family, running out of drink, running out of money, all these sort of things. So if you do feel like that, maybe do a bit of research and cut down a bit, maybe see the doctor if you can. It's not an urgent thing, but it's got to be looked at. Because it can lead to suicide. And alcohol is a big contributor to male suicide and female suicide, because it is this anxiety, this vicious circle of dependency, anxiety and depression. So get things looked at. Don't be afraid to go and see the doctor or some sort of health professional. Contact people like myself. There's lots of people on the internet who do this sort of thing, who have been through it, because we're the ones who can help you, because we've been through it. We're not medics, but we've seen the rough end of it, shall we say. If you benefit from the channel, then please subscribe. And if you'd like to share, please do. Get the word out, because it is a toxic drug. It's a poison, isn't it? And I shall speak to you all soon.